Hello everyone, my name is Diane and I work at the Belleville Public Library in the Information Services Department. Today I want to show you how to make a simple floral arrangement for Mother's Day. In your garden you may have bulb flowers growing like tulips, daffodils, or hyacinths, and they'd be perfect for that kind of arrangement. As well, you may have some evergreens growing in the yard, and you can use clippings from those for the greenery in the arrangement. If you're not lucky enough to have those kinds of plants available for you to use, you can take a trip to the grocery store or the local garden center. They will have bouquets of flowers there, as well as greenery that you can utilize to make a beautiful arrangement. So, let's get started and make a lovely floral arrangement for Mom. May 10th is Mother's Day. Moms do so much to care for us each day, celebrating our accomplishments with us, comforting us when we're sad, being a listening ear, offering advice when we need it, not to mention all the daily activities moms do to take care of us every day. Mother's Day is a time to acknowledge Mom's love for us by showing our love for her. Flowers are such a wonderful way to celebrate Mom, and if you take the time to put them together in an arrangement, she will be so surprised at your thoughtfulness. What a way to put a great big smile on Mom's face. To start the arrangement, you will need to choose the container you want to use. A vase is ideal, however, you may or may not have a vase available. If you look online, you can find all sorts of examples of everyday items used as flower containers. For this demonstration, a simple mason jar from the pantry will work just fine. In addition to the mason jar container, you will need something to stabilize the flowers as you're arranging them. Florists use floral tape for this purpose, but considering that most of us do not have that in our house right now, regular tape can substitute. The tape is used to make a grid at the top of the container to keep the flowers in place. Or you can check through your recycle. The stabilizer you use could include some kind of a mesh. In this case, the netting holding your onions in the pantry is a reasonable substitute as well. If you're using a netting, then you will want to secure it with an elastic. Regular kitchen scissors can be used to cut flowers and greenery in your garden if you do not have garden clippers. I also use scissors to cut the flowers to the length I want for the arrangement. All stems should be cut in a diagonal, as they can absorb the water in the container more easily, which will help the arrangement last longer. Forage your garden for flowers and greenery to go into the container. Daffodils, tulips, and hyacinth are all in bloom currently. As you cut these stems, make sure you're cutting as close to the bottom of the stem as possible. With tulips, you will want to include a few of the leaves to add to the arrangement. Greenery will likely be available from your evergreen plants, which can include cedar trees, pine trees, spruce tree, euonymus, or any other evergreen available. Consider houseplants as well if you're looking for other options. Branches from the dogwood shrubs can also be a nice addition to the arrangement because the bark is red. Traditionally, these are used for Christmas arrangements, but there's no hard and fast rule with this. Remember to choose 1 to 2 types of greenery, and you will want to have a substantial amount to work with. Greenery not only frames your arrangement, but also acts as a stabilizer for the flowers within the arrangement. If you do decide to purchase flowers from the grocery store or local garden center, they will have an abundance of selection for you to choose from. For your flower selection, try to select 3 different types of flowers to work into the arrangement. You will want 1 to 2 focal point flowers, usually with the taller stems. Then you can choose other flowers with tall stems or not, and you cut them to the size that you want, usually a medium height and then a shorter flower to complement and fill in the gaps of the arrangement. The container being used for this arrangement is a mason jar from my pantry. I have filled the jar with water And then I've taken some Scotch tape, doubled it with the sticky side out, and made a grid across the top of the jar, securing the tape with an elastic band. The grid helps to hold the flowers in place in the arrangement. To start off, you want to create a base in the arrangement with greenery. For this arrangement, I selected the broader leaf greenery and arranged it around the entire jar in a crisscross pattern. The crisscross pattern, like the grid, also acts as a stabilizer for the flowers in the arrangement. I'm using the cedar as an accent. I placed 3 different branches of the cedar to complement the greenery. It also adds texture to the arrangement. Hold the stem of your greenery so that it's lined up to how much you want to have coming out of the top of the jar. Cut the bottom that is lower than the bottom of your jar. That's how I decide how long or short to cut a flower or greenery. You also need to remember to remove the leaves from the portion of the stem that's going to sit in the water. I have chosen a lily to be the focal point flower of this arrangement. It has several buds on it that will open once it spends a day in the jar of water. I lined it up with the jar to determine what length I want it to be. The focal point flower will be the tallest flower in the arrangement. Keep in mind that you'll be filling in the gaps of the arrangement with flowers that will stand at a medium or shorter height when determining how tall you want your focal point flower to be. I generally work with 3 visual levels, and I usually use 1 focal point flower, 3 secondary level flowers, 5 shorter flowers that are just above the greenery at the base of the arrangement. But again, it depends on how many flowers you're choosing for the arrangement and how far apart you want to place them in the arrangement. Pictured here is the base of the arrangement with greenery. I've placed 3 branches of cedar into the broadleaf greenery to add texture and interest. Once determining the height I want the focal point flower to be, I cut the stem diagonally and remove the bottom leaves. I've added what I believe are Gerber daisies just below the focal point flower to complement it. I've placed them on either side of the arrangement. Keep in mind that you want your arrangement to look good from any angle. Daffodils from my garden provide a lovely contrast of color. I've arranged 5 around the arrangement, slightly lower than the daisies. I have also used green carnations to fill in the lowest level closest to the greenery. Just keep adding flowers to fill in any gaps you see. I have turned the arrangement slowly so I can see all sides and move around flowers and greenery to strike the right balance and ensure there are no gaps in it. I added a purple hyacinth for contrast color and some goldenrod. Once these lilies open up, it will be beautiful. Add color and fragrance for everyone to enjoy. In this picture, you'll see the arrangement nestled on the table amongst the other plants, and notice that the lilies are starting to open up. This now shows you the shape I was aiming for in making this arrangement. There are many flower arranging resources available online and at the library. It's often nicer to have a book with a selection of arrangements where you can take your time perusing what appeals to you and following the instructions step by step at your own pace. Some helpful books I've sourced out for you include Meaningful Bouquets by Lee Oakes and Lisa McGinnis, Chic and Unique Flower Arrangements by Julie Collins and Tina Parks, Pretty Pale Flower Arrangement by Julie Collins and Tina Parks. Thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar. Accessing webinars and courses and other interesting activities can be found by visiting the Belleville Library website at bellevillelibrary.ca and choosing the What's On calendar of events. And don't forget to check out our virtual library for access to books, movies, music, and courses that are always available online with your library card. If you do not have a library card, you can get one by contacting InfoServe at bellevillelibrary.ca. I wish you a wonderful and happy Mother's Day.